Hey people, I had a dream this morning. It was just for a split second. I used to have them every night. It's been a while. But in this split second, the Archangel Michael come to me and told me two great truths. The first one is, it's not Michael, it's Michael. Michael. It's feminine. And the other one, I'll get right into it. Then I opened up my YouTube and I saw I had a comment on this movie, The Language Change of Babel, from 2 months ago. Great work. So I had to go back and watch the movie. I forgot what was in it. And I found a big flaw in it, and I put it in most all my movies. And it's right here. And so I'll start this, and then the next movie, I'm going to call this part 2. I'll put it in the folder with that last one of the Greek. It's that part where I say, I will get back on this, because I say that in most every movie, and then something sidetracks me. I go somewhere else. Then I opened up my Facebook and I saw this. This is the relationship between atheists and Christians. You know, the atheists think the Christians are so dumb, they need to put this note on the box. But they're all in the same place. You know, atheists tell you to trust the science. They're not much of a scientist if they can't understand the writings. You know, it comes from their field. I usually see a bunch of posts from a group, from a couple different atheist groups, and they really don't have a clue. It's just kids rebelling. So in these last couple movies, I've been reading Revelations 12 about the woman and the dragon. And the last one I ended down here on 4. And so it's still got line 5 and 6 to go just in this little story here. And then it starts the 7, the war in heaven. And so, you know, the war in Hebrew, the word for war is alchemy. And we've seen here that in heaven just means in the place of. And what it's talking about in this story, in tattoo on wearing on her. You know, and so it's a place. The place changes with the surrounding words. But here in 7, you know, and it's in this place of Michael. And so they'll tell you that when it comes up twice like this, once in Jude and this one here. And most everywhere I'll tell you this word, Michael, means who like God, the one who is like God. So you see that, you know, the war in heaven can also be read as the alchemy in place of. And in the Hebrew, you know, they'll give this word Mikal, M-K-L, you know, from all, you know, is M is from, and they'll say this K-L is all, you know, the God, all of. And so Michael is the one who is like God, you know, the all. And so ancient people know that all come from chemical. K is the word they'll give to likeness. When they put a K in front of it, that's where the likeness come from. Like them what new, according to our likeness. Like them what new. And the call, you know, everything. Chemical, come everything. And you see that again here, Ezekiel 1:13, and it's for the likeness, but it doesn't have the K in there. They got a mistake here in most all the Bible, you know, and it's to them what mute, to them what mute, and so that tells me that the likeness is deaf mute, to them what mute, to quiet it out. But you see it here in this word here, like coals, to ka, like goalie, to give the goolie. So I'm not so sure about this meaning like. I think that was something they created to force meaning on here. You see it in the ancient letter meaning chart. You know, the ka is the giving hand, the open hand. And they say at the beginning of a word it means as or like. But, you know, the KL is to fold, you know, to give, to fold of. And so your fold of, you know, is the fold, is the father's blood, you know, the father's side of the DNA. And so it's, you know, like as in the DNA that you pass down, what was given. And in Greek, they'll say the like is this word arsi. And this is, in the male, is arson. But with the markup here, this reads A-R-A-R and then Y-E-S. Yes, and then E-S-E-Y. Yes is they. Or yes is they. Hey, everybody likes this? Yes. The ones that said yes, they're the ones that like it. Or yes is they. So in this Greek, you see that the word for war is now polemaz or pholemos. Pholemos. O's is those type of people. So this isn't the war. This is the type of people that fold them. They fold them. They fold the chemicals together in alchemy. So this key is just the W or the V, the Vav, and it reads backwards, and it's the vote. V-O-T-E. The vote, N-E-N, Jigga. The vote in Jigga into. Wish in Jig it too. Wish in Jig into. Folum as. Ben tattoo on wear and honor. And he's wishing to jig into, to folum as. And this is where that word oi comes from, I was telling you. That's used here in the bottom of 8 for row your boat. It's oi away, oi away, oi away. And so oi away is what you're doing when you're crushing something with your pestle and mortar. You're oi away, you're rowing the boat. Oi away, oi away, oi away. When you're hitting that ass, you're oi away, you're rowing the boat. And during the dragon boat racing, that's what you're doing. You oi away, oi away. And this dragon boat racing been going on for worldwide forever. Africa, Asia, Puerto Rico, dates back 2,000 years and even further in the original Olympian Games. They were dragon boat racing. And so back here, you got the tail, which is the O-A-R, the oar wear. The oar wear is the tail. And here you got your oars. And they changed the word to paddlers from the oars. But they still use the same word for the steerer. And the direction of the dragon boat's movement is controlled by the steerer standing on the back of the boat. Many terms exist for the person steering the boat, such as the steerer, the steers person, the steerman, the sweep and helm. And he uses a straight oar, the oar wear in the back of the boat, on the tail, the oar wear. And this got to be an ancient tradition, because they got people out there on that boat that can't even swim. They're doing it for tradition. They don't even like the water. And so, vote in jigging into, wish in jigging it to. The wish in G-E-G-E, jig. G-G means one by one. G-G, one by one and two. But, jigging, coming from the old English jig, to walk, to pass by, to transgress, to deviate to the side, to go the wrong way, to rove at random. You jig over the other side of the street to get a better look at that girl. Out of the way. Jigging, meaning to back in return. Reversal, against, counter, opposition. And so it's talking about a planet in retrograde. They're watching the planets go around. And as we coming around the sun, it appears that these planets retrograde and cause us a 6. And they're not. They're just moving steadily around. It's the Earth's movement that causes what appears to be them backing up. And so you're looking at a planet that is jigging in Cancer. He's jigging in Cancer. He turned around and went back to transgress in Cancer. And so these planets, they're constantly moving around, and it's only when we come on the same side of the sun, and it's our moving by that makes this appear to turn around and go in reverse because we're moving faster. And so wishing into jigging too, they're going by, and it's musical chairs, and it depends on where that planet's at when Earth passes between it to cause it to jig. And so voting jigging it to wish in jigging it to fold 'em as in tattoo on wearing on her. And he's wanting to jig the one with the tattoo. He's wanting to stop by and do the little roundabout. He wanting to go do some oying. He's wanting to go have war in the tattoo on wearing honor of the mix-all to oi, the mix-all. And I can't find it now, but I always thought that Michelle was an easy woman, a prostitute, the mix-all. But they'll say now it means, one who's like God, Michelle, Michael, anything like that. And the question is, what does God mean? And so if God's in heaven, it means, on where and honor, in the place of. And in this chapter, in that place of is on wearing on her vagina, in heaven. So very few people like my movies. People who think they're interested in the Bible, once they hear what it says, they don't want to know. And then the atheists, they would be able to understand this, but as soon as they see it's about the Bible, they're gone, because they think they know what the Bible's about already. So what I was really wanting to hit is this word, vagina, for the woman. And it's just a part of a word. It doesn't mean woman. In here it's reading with this vav, and it's a vagina. A queen is a regine. A regina is the reigning queen, the first the first woman, the queen. Latin. When it says in him and woman, the and is just the vagina is what that meant. And woman is vagina. And the next time this word comes up here was in that movie I did yesterday, and it's gonna yak O's. And so gonna means something I'm gonna do, gonna. And yak is an ancient word that means yak, and this is the picture you would use to represent yak. And so somebody would look at this picture and they would understand it meant trivially or unduly persistent conversation. And in private, it's a word that men use about women talking. They yak. And so I just lost about 5 more of my feminine viewers. And O's, that's what a woman says when you're doing it just right. And gonna yak O's is the woman. And gonna yak O's is only the woman you're trying to get in her pants. Not every woman. You don't call your mama gonna yak O's. And so this word for woman comes up many different ways, and this is just this category. It's always in the gunna. The gunnas and the gines. The gines used most. But it's, from within that's gonna yak O's of with his wife. And so they added this wife in there to let you know that you're supposed to be married, from within that's gonna yak O's of. And the wife of Lot, well, she's gonna yak O's Lot. She really liked it.
Oh God. Oh, yes.
I'll have what she's having.
Our yes is they. She's liking it. Our yes is they. You would write this, a gine placed behind a name to indicate feminine sex. And a yak, ek, the bull, that's a lot of bull, that's a lot of yak. And then the O, gonna yak O. And so the one they confuse as the bull queen is actually gonna yak O. And so to drink, do ask a woman Samaritan being, is pine, P-E-Y-E-N, to pine for, I wish for, and then A, and then S-I-S, as is it, yet is gonna jackos, and pine, I wish for, as is it, yet this gonna jackos. I haven't yet, but I hope to. I pine for, I wish for. Summer it tide as. The summer it tide as. High tides. As is uses. O-S-H-S. As is U-S-E-S. Uses. The high tide is, the summer high tide is uses. So the people that wrote this, they totally understood of the mix-all of everything from chemical, and they hope to use their knowledge of chemicals, how the brain works, to the place of, to the top on, the place, the top on, which vagina, bag of the fusion, the fled, the bag of the fusion. In the summertime, you pack your summer bag and go to the beach. N-E-B-G, bag, U-F, the bag of the fusion, the refugee, to get away. And so before, you got it, she was of to drag on a long time. In coats is telling, to see what color coat you're wearing. Are you going to hang around, or are you just going to run? It drags on, and coats is telling. To know if of, no peon is the past, the peon behind. And no peon is the future before. The no peon that's gonna yackos. She's making sure he's up to par. And to the man, this is the dragon. The long conversation before you get to the goodies. It drags on. And so this is where your words suck, we really thought this part sucked. We just want to get to the goodies. But it's, Dracula, the draft, a wind coming in, the suck on, she's pumping you for information, the drac. Well, she's sniffing you out, the smell uses. It's smell of uses. O is of, not the, but of. It's smell of uses. She's trying to sniff you out, see if you're worthy, see whether you're a peon or a no peon. And that's what the woman is being about. In no peon that's gonna jack O's that smell of uses. And come Mardi Gras, everybody dresses like the king, and it's harder to tell, the parade, the parading on, parade around, the parading on, it asparge. This PS and SP are interchangeable. It goes in different directions. And it asparge, the grapes ate, the grapes ate. Sparge is to moisten by sprinkling with water, especially in brewing. Parading on, it asparge grapes. It sprinkle the grapes ate. Call on, and then this word, the mark tells you to read the O, and the O says go back the other way, so it's on. And so the call on, the day, the calendar, the call on their a pauper, to call on their a pauper, then gonna yak O's, and that's what Mardi Gras is all about. We all dressed as kings. We sprinkle the grapes on, the grapes, the kings, and to call on their a pauper, then gonna yak O's. Everybody's dressed like the king, and much apt, apt is up to par, and much apt is they. And then, the T could be the D, the TH or the D, as in, day, and much apt is they adds it pay. They might lie about their position. They might adds to it pay, because they are apt. They're liable to is they adds it pay. And so pay, P-A, is open knowledge. It means face, the face value, and yet it's apt as they adds its face value. And I'm sure this word's used somewhere else, because if you read it in the other direction, if this mark turned the other way, or if you had another marking to read this backwards, it would read, yet is it pa-piti, P-A-P-T-E, which is a word to smear with paste. When you're making up your face, the papti, to smear with paste. And it breaks down into the ancient language, yet is it the face put. The face put is they, to put on the makeup, not to touch, but to touch up. And so it doesn't matter if you're an atheist or a Christian, or if you're the devil, you're all like Michael, you're all chemical. Even in Islam, they have the archangel Michael. The chemical is the angel said to effectuate, to put into force or operation God's providence. Coming from providere, to foreseer, to attend to. Mickle, the chemical, is the lackey, the servant. And we're going to see down in a little lower in this Revelations, where it lets you know that that's what that means, is a servant. To effectuate, to put into force of providence, to attend to. As a thought, all of our spirit and thought has lived forever. But in order to effectuate and to tend to, you have to be put in the form of a chemical body. But in order to get away from this, you got to become thought. Buddha knew that you are the thought. And Michael is just the chemistry, the body that you're put in. So program's getting pretty slow. I got a bunch of tabs open I need to go through and close up. But I feel pretty sure that I'm going to finish this out, that I've been working on, this line 5 and 6 until the war in heaven. And you can see here, the arson is the male, fire, but it actually reads backwards. It's the vesser, the one filling the arson, the one filling the fire, is the male. And so the male, he isn't just about, not smelly, but, if you don't understand the marks up here, you're reading this as arson of smelly, the fire smelly. But when you read the marks, it's the vesser, the fill, the arson, the fire O of, and then S-O, the sum of some hell they. To feel the fire of some hell they. But we'll look a little closer and see exactly what that means in the next movie.
Don't forget. Hooty hoot, hooty hoot. I won't forget.
Alright, I'm gonna cut this off here. Good day.